Welcome, sisters, to another episode of the Creatress Rising show. Today we have Sandra Anais, and she is an intuitive and archetypal dance facilitator. Welcome, Sandra. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you, Tamara. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really appreciated that, and I'm really grateful and happy to talk to you.
Fantastic. So how did you get started in not only dance, but this archetypal movement therapy, it feels like? Yeah,
well, actually, I've been close to dance all my life, since my childhood. And I've been through all the styles, like really from jazz dance to modern to ballet. And eventually I ended up in contemporary dance, where I actually got involved with release technique and contact dance and improvisation. And that was actually very liberating for me, because I could finally move more freely and express how I feel instead of just repeating steps or positions after someone else. So basically this was the part, the dancing part. And then I remember when I was studying in London for a few months, I came across a dance class that was called Experiential Anatomy. And that was really something fascinating, because there was a lot of somatic experiencing, and a lot of, we were exploring the connection with the skeletal, our skeleton and our muscles, and how sensational experience inside of the body, and how to use this in kinetics and movement. And we used a lot of touching, you know, and this was the whole new world for me. A totally different perspective on dance. It was something that bring me more inwards. And so basically I stayed really committed to this practice, and because it invites a lot of exploration into dance, a lot of free self-expression, a lot of playfulness also, because finally you can do a lot of mistakes, and these mistakes are something where the creation starts to blossom. And also it gave me a lot of relaxation in the body and a lot of joy. And I like this style because it is very non-judgmental. It actually, yeah, it's very intuitive. It gives you a lot of room to express, a lot of room to feel really what is inside, a lot of time to listen. It brings up spiritual dimension. It brings up meditative dimension, and also self-healing dimension. And the archetypes, yeah, actually I came across the archetypes with Caroline Myss's book, Sacred Contracts, 7 years ago. And because I'm also very passionate about astrology and chakras and everything, that was perfect for me, because it was combining these three fields. Chakra, which is something connected with the body and energy and sensations and everything that I did in dance. Then you have astrology, which is a lot of knowledge and something really ancient. I like to explore really ancient techniques and methods. And yeah, that's how I came across archetypes, and it gave me just a lot of imagination, a lot of room for my imagination to, you know, to start moving from there.
Yeah. So tell me more about what is dancing with the archetypes.
Well, Caroline, she has defined around 75 different archetypes very thoroughly, very precise. And I started to play with that, like how is this one, the name of one archetype, influencing my movement? How am I dancing differently if I think about this archetype? Is this archetype like invoking some kind of memory? Is this memory from the past, from my childhood? Is it something that I can work on and use it as a healing power? So at the beginning, it was only just like art creation. It was something that I used in my choreographies for the dancers to actually to inspire them to dance with this image of different archetypes. But then it became also the practice. So I started also to offer sessions and classes, and people were enjoying it. So I said, yeah, that's it. Let's go in this direction. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And what are some of the amazing things that come out of dancing with the archetypes for you personally, but also things that you've seen within your students as well?
Well, it is a very self-expressive. So people feel very liberated to really dance whatever they have, and they make fun of themselves, you know. So it becomes a safe space for exploration. So it's no judgment. So they become like more confident into their bodies, into the dancing and everything. But also it invokes a lot of emotions. So for example, if you get the archetype that you're not so comfortable with, or you are like confronting the shadow of this archetype, then a lot of emotions come, because you have some memory or image, and this brings a lot of emotionality into dance.
Yeah, beautiful. And so what is it about this type of movement that I guess helps your creatress to rise, helps you to create more energy for your life?
Definitely vitality. I feel very energized after this practice, because I use a lot of breathing modalities also for the warming up. It makes me feel very alive, very alert. It opens up my senses. So like my sensational experiencing of environment becomes more open, and it also raises my consciousness in a way. So yeah, I think it's very important in this culture that we are now, which is a sitting culture.
Yeah.
To start move, and you know, if you move your body, you move your ideas. Yeah. You move your head, you move your thoughts, you move your emotions. So everything gets into motion. So yeah, I think this is very important.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. And that is really, you know, for me, I've been sitting doing projects, you know, managing people's businesses, all those kinds of things. And my life has, you know, sometimes consisted of 10, 12, 13 hours in front of the computer in a day. And so this process of Creatress Rising and really starting with the body has come out of that, because I know I've got to move my body. I got to start shaking things up a bit, and I got to release some of that old, you know, old stuck energy. And so I want to know, like, how do you move when you want to release things? What's your process for releasing stuff from your body?
Yeah, well, I'm using a lot of Kundalini shake for like just releasing like everything out into the floor, into the ground. I'm using a lot of images from the nature, like connecting with the fire, connecting with the earth, connecting with the water, to really put out, you know, everything that is like building up, all the repressed emotions and everything. Sometimes I just put the music on and it's just like free flow. So it's just like free flow, like ecstatic dance. You know, I let the music guide me. And sometimes I'm just stomping with my feet, you know, very hard, like African dance. So I'm really like integrating different modalities into this process. Also whirling, for example, dervish whirling, sometimes it helps me a lot to release some stuck energies and emotions and get really, really deeper into my meditative states and my inner self.
Yeah. So would you say just through playing with all these different types of movement, you now have an intuitive practice as to which one to go to, depending on what you need to release or where you're feeling within your body, those kinds of things?
Yeah, most of these things that I was talking about now, I'm using usually in my warming up practice, especially if I work with a group. If I work with one-on-one clients, then it's more free room to find and to sense what a person really needs. or what I really need, when I'm working with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. And
Yeah.
and then, the opposite to that, how do you move when you want to create new energy for life?
Breathing, I think breathing is the most important, in the most initial thing in every dance. Like every dance starts first with a breath. So I'm using a really special breathing technique, which is really energizing and lifting my energy up and really opening my body to start before I start dancing. So definitely breathing is the most, but breathing in movement. Yeah. So it's not static breathing like, in meditation or in yoga, but it's breathing in movement. So your body is already moving while you're breathing.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. And so what else about the archetypes? Like, are there any particular archetypes that you want to talk about for, particularly, I know there's no creatress archetype, but
Oh yes, it is actually. Creatress is an archetype.
Let's talk about the creatress archetype.
Yes, of course it is. I don't know who invented this word. I'm not so familiar because I'm coming from different cultures, so I cannot talk about the invention, how it started this movement. But creatress, for me, it's like just the embodiment of all different feminine archetypes and of all different goddess archetypes, basically. Well, I'm really familiar. I don't know if you're familiar with this book of Jan Shinoda Bolen, like Goddesses in Every Woman. She talks about Greek goddesses and how these Greek goddesses are reflected in modern women and their life and their psychological difficulties and everything. So basically, I'm using these myths and these myths and stories to invoke goddesses energy and to work with this archetypal energy of feminine awakening. So creatress for me is everything. It encompasses everything, because in every woman there are so many different goddesses. Yeah, they're just showing up at different times, at different transitions in our lives. So yeah,
beautiful.
we have to honor all of them and invite all of them to our life and let them move through us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and invite them in every area of our life too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is this Creatress Rising movement, right? Is to really, invite and empower ourselves within each area. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna have to go and contemplate that for a little while.
Good. Yeah, life is a dance, actually. So if you invite this movement into your everyday tasks, whatever you're doing, like it can be really simple things like cleaning or whatever, getting your child to the school, or I don't know, really simple task. But if you remind yourself that this is sacred and this is actually a dance and this is actually something that is given to you, that you have to be grateful for that, then everything becomes dance and meditation.
Beautiful. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Sandra, can you tell us a little bit about some of the practices that you're putting into the Creatress Rising app for us?
Yeah, well, actually, it was hard to choose for me. I have a lot of material, but I've decided at the end to just put in some really basic and simple warm-up modalities, which is like breathing and some really simple things to warm up your body. And also, actually, I kind of sensed really Aphrodite energy with you and with all that you have created. So basically, I will offer a way how to journey into your inner Aphrodite, and also how to offer this work, if you're a facilitator, how to offer this work to others. So it will be, a little journey.
Beautiful.
A few video tutorials and a few PDFs with instructions on how to how to
Yeah.
conduct this and how to run this for yourself or for others.
Amazing, amazing. Because you have a facilitator workshop on your website, don't you? For facilitators wanting to learn more about running, doing archetypal dance.
Yeah, exactly. I also have facilitator training. So this, if you enroll into my program, online program, you can basically run through it as your self-healing practice or your self-practice on your personal growth, or you can also use it as a facilitator training, and because it has both aspects.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sandra. It was a real pleasure to learn more about the archetypes and how they can move through our body and through our life, and to understand your philosophy on movement is so beautiful.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you for inviting me.